Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. Just a quick update on what's going on the planet. We are not actually live streaming to Rumble like we were supposed to this week. Ran into a little bit of a configuration problem with OBS. Thought I had it fixed. Didn't have it fixed. So not enough time to get it fixed. So we're just going to start that next week, just as a note. But yeah, I'm got a lot of plans for the show on the Rumble side, but there's still some configuration work that has to be done, but we'll get there. Don't worry. Why don't we go ahead and introduce everybody? Jenny, you back?
I am totally back. I keep trying to share Twitter, and Twitter's like, no. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it a minute and then try again.
Twitter's broken at the moment. It's been acting up for like hours.
The only thing that's not working for me is DMs. It's something I can't do.
Every once in a while, I go to load it up, and it just won't load up. That's basically all it is.
For me, it's been everything. GIFs didn't work, DMs didn't work, notifications didn't work, and like they'd come back periodically, but they'd also just be down for like long stretches of time. So,
well, the deal for me was that the app was working, but browser was not.
No,
that's what was.
They were both broken. They were both broken for me.
Wow. How you doing, Terry?
I'm all right. How about you?
Can't complain. I think it's going to be a good night. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody in chat.
I gave it in. I beat you to one person. Hi, Cynic. Hi, Green.
Cool. I don't have to do anything. Say hello to Costin for me.
Hi, Costin. And we got somebody new, Blake Star.
Yeah, you're the first one. Yeah, I don't know if he's
hey,
still
Blake
here.
Star.
And
it took me a while to scroll up that high. So.
And Green Badger Outdoors is with us. And of course, everybody will funnel in about a half an hour from now, as normal. Got a couple of topics out here tonight. It'd be interesting to see if we get to them tonight. First is Get Woke, and that is the typical Get Woke, Go Broke issue. Disney has decided to fire 7,000 people, 3% of their workforce, because they keep making silly movies. And then Milkers is that's actually a topic you wanted me to bring up, Jen. And I can't play the video. I just didn't have time to. I was trying to solve the Rumble thing, and I never got around to setting up the ability to play a video, because we've done web pages and we've done images, but we've never done a video.
I can still share the link to the video in the chat. So let me at least do that much, because I have that on my Discord.
Well, what I did was I found a web page that was covering the story and includes the video. So you can always read from that. I'll put that in chat.
So I did post a link to the video if you guys would like to that works too, because the National Post is it's a news site that posted it, and fair enough to them. They've actually been hammering on Trudeau finally, because they're a little bit iffy. It's one of those things where conservatives sometimes will say stuff that sounds like they're kind of crossing streams with liberals. Just saying. But the reason I shared that one is because it's one of those things where, like, I work in food industry. I've worked in food industry for a really long time, and I know about stuff that we do sometimes that are really shameful. But what I saw in that video legit had me crying, because it's just, that they're doing this on purpose. Terry, if I told you that up here, that it's not just that milk is $7. There's times where you go to places and milk is almost $9.
I read the article, so yeah, I know exactly the problem that you're talking about.
And this isn't just happening in Canada. It happens in the US. It happens in Europe. It absolutely happens in your neck of the wood, Terry. They just don't.
Oh, of course it does.
They just don't show it to you.
No, God, why would they? There'd be an outcry if people knew.
But it's just, they've done this before. Like, before they got caught, and they were literally slaughtering animals just so that they could raise the price of pork. You know, we're complaining
Yeah.
about eggs. And I'm like, I bet you anything they're going in and they're smashing eggs.
Oh,
And
100%.
and these are the people who claim to give a shit about the environment. They're telling you that this is better for you, it's better for your neighbor. But honestly, what it's really better for is their pocket. And it hurts the farmers, which honestly, why would you ever piss off your farmers?
It doesn't seem wise.
It doesn't seem wise at all, because if ever there was a group of people who could fuck over a country really quickly, it is your farmers.
Oh yeah.
It's hugely against the law in the United States. Price
As
fixing.
it should be.
It
Yeah.
is. It's like one of the big no-nos. It's like treason. It's really bad.
Yeah. So seeing that, like, I don't know why they haven't been called out yet. And here's the thing, I feel a little bit bad because last time I voted for Maxime, and I don't regret that, because I did want to say something to my Conservative Party. I wanted to be like, yeah, you guys have been entitled too. You aren't listening to the people either. So you can't sit there and be like, Trudeau bad when you do the same stupid shit that you know. So I voted for Maxime, but to be fair, Scheer was trying to argue for the dairy community. So I feel bad for the dairy community because I didn't know that. I've always known that my government has overreach. They always have. You know, he's saying like, oh, well, you know, if you were working in the metal industry and they were forcing you to throw out, I don't doubt they do that there too. I'm sorry, just because they're not showing it to you doesn't mean that I don't think that they're not doing it to them, because they do it to the oil and gas industry. They're doing it to everybody because cutting us down makes us poor. It makes us desperate. It makes us look for handouts because we don't know where else to go. You know, I hear people crying about my premier because she can't do anything about the overreach from the feds, and I'm like, she's doing what she can. Without losing everybody, everything, she's doing what she can. That's why I wanted to share it. I knew that if I share something like that with Sanguine, he would cry too, because he's a foodie too. If you couldn't use it, donate it. They could have. He said in the video.
From what I read in that article, then they wanted to, and they just were not allowed. Mm-hmm. They were forced to dump all that milk. It's like,
but
otherwise the price would come down, and they don't want to allow that to happen.
But my prime minister will donate billions of dollars to countries that you know isn't going into the hands of the people that it's supposed to go to. I'm like, you know, I even said to my mom, worst case scenario, you could have dehydrated that milk and sent it to countries where they have food shortages. No, we'll just dump it out down the sewer. That's what Canadians are about. We're about our politics and feeding the pockets of rich, entitled assholes who honestly don't give a shit about anybody.
It is depressing to think, like, just the amount of food being wasted, or milk in this case, but just how much good you could do with the milk, like just lowering prices, or give, like, if you not allowed to sell it, you know, just give it to people that need it. There's like so many things you could do with it. It's like the government is saying, no, pour it down the drain. It is illegal for you to do anything good with this like milk.
It makes me think, Terry, that we have a similar situation to the Flint. You know, we have a Native community that can't even bathe their babies because the water is so acidic that it burns their skin. And I see videos like that where they're dumping milk out. I'm like, yeah, I understand what's wrong with my country. There's a lot of things wrong with my country.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with every country, unfortunately. There's so much corruption in politics. It's insane.
I can't think about that stuff for too long, but I did want to call it out. And I do want to share those kind of stories because if anything, if it can shame my country more so that the people who are up their ass about liberals for life, I don't care who's running the country. As long as they're not doing shit like that anymore, I'll vote for them.
Yeah.
Like, stop doing this stuff.
Do you think spreading the word will incite change in this situation? Do you think it's...
I think a lot of people are educating themselves when they see things like that. You know, it's even say you were even a vegan and you saw something like that. Even as a vegan, that would horrify me. Like, for one thing, you've done that shit to the animals, but then you did that on top of it.
I think if more people find out that this is like, most people have no idea that this is even happening. If enough people find out that the price of milk is being artificially kept high by governments forcing farmers to just throw out perfectly good milk, if enough people find out, I think there will be a political pressure to force them to stop doing that. Whether they do stop doing that or not is another matter. But I think if you can get the people just aware of the fact that it's happening, I think that they'll get upset and they'll want that stopped.
The one thing it is doing for sure is it's lowering Trudeau's numbers. That much I know is for sure, because everything like this that comes out, the more his party, the more the NDP have a hard time fighting, because it's in their face that, well, why did you do that? Why are you still doing that? You keep claiming to be the party of the people, but you're throwing out milk when you have people who are demanding funds because they refuse to work. Like, and yet we're throwing out milk.
Yeah.
Like, no, if I was in the Native community, and they are a big part of the voting bloc, like they're 4% of our of Canada is Native. And if I knew that I was being fucked over the way I was seeing that kind of shit, yeah, I would stop voting Liberal a lot more. And maybe that's just because I'm a white person saying that. But no, if I was thinking about my kids and my family, and I knew that, hey, I'm stretching so much harder because of this dick, yeah, I'd stop voting for him. It's
I would hope
not,
so.
You know, it's not always about the party. It's about, okay, listen, at the end of the day, I have to take care of my own. And this isn't anything about saving the planet. Dumping milk down the sewer, how does that save the planet? You're polluting the water now. No.
Yeah. No, they can't pretend there's any reason for it other than they want milk to be expensive.
Yeah. So
I can't imagine this happening in the States, though, because the CPA is like the IRS. It's just a group that you don't want to screw with, because all of their penalties are long-term prison sentences. So if anybody gets caught in the U.S. for this, people are going to go to jail for 20, 30 years.
I would hope so.
I would still keep an eye out for it. Like, it's not that I think it necessarily happens, but when it does, it's one of those things where the guy in the video said it's very easy for them to silence you. And that's the thing. He took one for the team to come out and say his piece. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not looking at his farm that is probably generational to him and going, I don't know if I just put my life on the line. It's kind of like that up here. Like, you don't really know when people come and speak out if they're going to do well afterwards. That's why a lot of people look for a GoFundMe just in case, so they have an insurance plan. Because he had a happy farm. Like, I watched that video, and in all honesty, that sometimes the cows look like big giant cow puppies, you know? They're happy, healthy, you know, they look like they're looking for pets from him or treats or something. Like, oh, you got a treat for me? No, I'll go away, motherfucker. They're happy cows. But, you know, he's looking at those cows, and you know that they're kind of part of his family. Believe it or not, they are kind of part of his family too. Yeah. And he put that all on the line. So I don't question what you're saying, Hammer, because I actually do think Americans are a lot more sincere than people give you guys credit for. I just think a lot of you don't know everything that's going on because people live their own lives, just like I should be doing more often, you know, but it's like I told my friend Pete, you go on the bus and you read propaganda. You go and take a training module and you read propaganda. You go and you read a magazine. Oh, look, there's more propaganda. You turn on the TV. Oh, look, there's more propaganda. Canada has become a propaganda state. And while our parliament was very angry at Tucker Carlson for telling a joke, you know, the reason they were angry is because he wasn't entirely wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, if what he was saying was just complete nonsense, then they just go, well, he's wrong. But the fact that there's an undercurrent of truth is like, we need to silence him.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I don't want you guys sending troops up here. I'd rather Canadians deal with it on our own because I think we're strong enough too. I'd rather not be Mexico.
We've got a nuke from orbit. It's the only way.
But I don't want us to become like Mexico. I'd like us to deal with it on our own a little bit, you know, because I think we can. I think we can. It's just Canada needs to grow some balls and do what we did last year and keep doing it.
No, I think I've got the solution. What you do is you take all the excess milk, you put chocolate powder into it, and then tell Trudeau this is just dairy blackface, and then he'll be, oh, okay, that's fine then.
Well, you know, Terry, Crayola has a chocolate that when you put hot water in it, it changes color.
Wait, Crayola has chocolate?
Has hot chocolate. You put hot water in it and it changes color.
I thought Crayola was like crayons. They make hot chocolate as well?
Yeah, they've got a hot chocolate mix now. It changes color when you put hot water in it. That starts off looking like hot chocolate mix, and then you put water in it, and it changes color. I'm like, I can't wait until people punk people with it.
Jeez. I had no idea that they made hot chocolate. I thought they were just crayon companies.
They are. But I think they've been selling their dyes to other companies. Like you can get Crayola set of dyes for like cakes and things, or like icing, that kind of stuff. Fair but enough. it's just the dye. So yeah, they just took a dye, and I just find it funny that it starts off looking like hot chocolate mix, and then just changes color, and that's totally not going to fuck with your system at all. I have a sense of humor. I am also questioning what it's going to taste like, because magical changing color dye doesn't sound tasty to me.
Well, I'm sure they use artificial flavorings to mask whatever the natural taste of the dye is.
No, it tastes like Crayola's. It's going to be like crayon tasting chocolate milk.
Well, then, if it does taste like crayons, I don't imagine there's going to be much of a market for it.
No, but it'd be funny. And I could see some parents giving it to their kids and be like, "No, it tastes like crayons, I swear."
I mean, there's some kids that eat crayons, so maybe they'll be all over it.
Right? Go ahead, Hammer. We keep pausing you.
No, not at all. I'm just listening to you guys talk. Say hi. A couple of people who joined us in chat. THUR is out there. K. Shull has joined us. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah.
But besides the controversy in Canada, we also probably should talk a little bit about Disney.
Yeah. It's about time.
Just another get woke, go broke. Actually, before we get to that, there's a TV show I used to watch all the time. I'm not a big person for TV.
Nope, me neither.
I watch, certain shows, but I don't just sit there and watch, from like 7 until midnight, kind of just sit there and watch TV. But there was a show that came on late at night called The Late Late Show. It used to be with Craig
Ferguson?
It used to be Craig Kilborn, and
Okay.
Craig Ferguson took it over from Craig Kilborn, and then James Corden.
I do like Craig Ferguson. I don't know who Kilborn is, but Craig Ferguson I do like.
And then James Corden took it over from Craig Ferguson when Craig Ferguson left. And and you're right, when Craig was there, it was a great show. Jeff the Robot, Secretariat, it was a great show.
I never saw The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. I just like him in general. Like, he was on the Drew Carey show. I've seen like interviews with him. He just comes off as like a very personable man. He's like very easy to like.
Yes. So he did the show for 9 years, and he left, and James Corden took over, and immediately the ratings tanked, and they never
Of course they
recovered.
did.
So there will
I
be
stopped watching it too.
the show that's been around for 30 years will be canceled in 2023.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they get.
And James stole jokes from Ricky Gervais, and Ricky called him out for it. And he didn't even make them funny like he did.
Well, of course not. The person who steals the joke is never going to be as funny as the person who wrote the joke.
Plus, apparently the restaurants in the area, apparently they hate him a lot. He apparently he's a dick to the waiters and the waitresses.
Well, the show was costing them $60 million to put the show on, and when Craig was in charge, it was $23 million. So they gave Gordon a lot more money, but the show was never good. So they just said, "All right." They just went in and canceled it. Supposedly, they went back to Craig and offered him his old job back, and he said no.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
No, I don't either.
Well, he chose to leave. He just said, like, 9 years is enough. I'm out.
Yeah.
But
Which
he really hasn't done anything since. He's just doing stand-up now, which he's good at. If you ever seen his stand-up stuff, he's really good at stand-up. It's like, it's better than his monologues in the show, which were really good too. So,
well, I think with the monologues, they weren't written exclusively by him. Like he had a team of writers, whereas his stand-up, his stand-up should be written exclusively by him. So that should be truer to his nature. So he'd be better able to deliver it, in the appropriate manner.
The writers for the Late Late Show was him, another girl, and his sister.
Okay.
Those are the writers for the show. So, yeah.
That's good because normally, like, there's a team of writers for, like, those shows.
Oh, yeah. I think, what is Conan O'Brien has, like, 6 people.
Yeah, minimum. That's, like, standard is, like, you've got an entire staff who write the monologues and the jokes and all the rest of it.
Yeah. But I miss those days. I wish there was a way to get the 9 years of the show on DVD or something like that. But it was so early that those shows don't even exist anymore, except, in the archives at Paramount or whatever.
I'm sure if you scour the internet hard enough, you'll uncover a good chunk of episodes. You probably won't get all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you could get like a decent chunk of the episodes that someone like uploaded from a VHS tape, and like the quality won't be good, but you'll be able to watch the show at least.
I couldn't get any Craig Kilborn stuff. I went looking, I couldn't find anything. But there's a guy called the Jay Leno Fly. It's that's his YouTube channel. And he puts together all the shows. Like he'll do like a specific guest who's been there 3 or 4 times. He'll do a thing of all of their appearances, that kind of deal. And that was actually a bit that Craig Ferguson used to do with Jeff, is because Jeff used to do not an imitation. What's the word I'm thinking of?
An impression.
Impression. Ginswin and I was close. He'd do an impression of Jay Leno, and Jeff made a crack once, and he says he's like a fly, you can't get rid of him because he was in the job for so long,
right?
And then it became the Jay Leno Fly because he's like a fly you can't get rid of,
right?
So Jeff was doing the Craig's trying to swat it away and slamming his hand on the desk and stuff like that. So the guy who started getting these clips together used that as his YouTube name, the Jay Leno Fly. It's pretty cute.
I actually found a really awesome Daily Motion channel of all things, where it's just like all these cartoons from the 90s. They've just got like every episode just uploaded on Daily Motion. So I've been watching the Ninja Turtles, but they've also got like the Street Fighter cartoon. They've got like The Legend of Zelda. They've got like all these 90s cartoons, Transformers. So I'm just working my way through all the Ninja Turtle episodes, and then I'm probably going to watch Street Fighter.
That's funny. I saw a tweet the other day. It showed a lollipop, Tootsie Pop, and the background was a picture. It looked like somebody had done an oil painting of an owl, and
Yeah, I've seen that.
underneath it said, "Only some people understand this." And it was a callback to the original Tootsie Pop commercials in the early 70s.
See, the one I saw said, if you get this, you have gray hair.
Okay.
And like I didn't get it because like I had no idea what they're talking
Yeah, it's
about.
before your time.
Well, not just that, it wasn't in Australia.
Oh, really? That makes sense, I guess.
So I read through the comments and then I saw, oh, it's a reference to that commercial. Okay, now I'm with you. But I didn't get it just by looking at it. I had to read the comments.
I've seen a couple of those out on Twitter where it says, if you recognize this, you're old, or if you recognize this, then you get it, or something like that. There's a couple of them are like, I'm like looking, I'm like, I don't get it, and I'm old, and I still don't get it.
Yeah.
So I just skip them because I'm not going to spend time trying to figure out what they're talking about.
Yeah, it depends. If I just happen to see it, then I'll ignore it. If it's shared by someone that I know, then I'll be more likely to look into it. Like if Johnny Hellcat shared it, then it's like, okay, obviously Johnny saw something in this. Let's see what this is about. If I'm just scrolling and it's just there, like, who cares?
Is something going on with Weibo? You guys know of?
I don't know.
Not that I know of.
We just saw a tweet from Six. He says, "Hey everybody, send the homie Weibo Jones some cat memes and other cool stuff." I wonder if she's. I heard somebody broke into her mailbox.
Oh, that's not cool.
That's not good.
From what I gathered, they broke into all the mailboxes in her. I guess she lives in an apartment. They broke into all the mailboxes in the apartment because they're all in like one area. They didn't just get her; they had everybody. I mean, if they broke in my mailbox, what are they going to get from me? Bills? Please take them. That's fine.
Well, not really, because if you don't know that you've received a bill, you won't pay it, and then
well,
they'll get
the way I have my bills is I don't have very many bills. The house is paid for, the water comes from a well. I don't I paid for the well, but the only thing I really pay for is my internet connection and electricity, because I don't have anything here that's gas. So the stove and the heating for the house, everything's electrical. So I really only have 2 bills, and I know what those payments are. I know how much they cost, so I just pay them at the beginning of the month, even whether the paper is here or not. It's just today's payday. Let me just go pay these 2. Done. So
I received mine by email. So I mean, I'd be fine if they stole the actual paper copy because I just paid through the email. But a lot of people, if they never received their phone bill, they wouldn't know that how much to pay, or the banking details to pay it to, and so they end up behind on their phone bill, and then next month it's twice the amount, and they're like don't have the money. I can see it being a problem not receiving your bills.
I kind of cheat when it comes to my phone because I have a cell phone. Well, I used to have a landline with the provider up here, but no one ever really used it. Everyone uses a cell phone. So what I did was I got on my brother's plan. So he's already paying for his service, and adding another phone to it just cost him $10 a month. So in every December, I just send him a check for $120.
That works.
So again, I don't have a monthly bill because it's December. I gotta send my brother here's some money. Make up for all the time he's been paying. So
no, I mean my bills are generally not that expensive because sure I use a lot of electricity because I'm always on the computer. I've got like a laptop and the computer always on all day, so that's but like my water bill, my phone bill, all that stuff is pretty cheap. 'Cause
Yeah.
my phone is a Twitter notification machine. That is the only thing I use it for. Is it makes a sound when I get a Twitter notification, so I know to check on the desktop
Well,
what is happening.
but you use it as a phone, right? Because how else are you going to order food? Or I guess DoorDash, right? You can do that online too.
Well, I don't do DoorDash anymore. I have a service, Chef Good, that is I did every week they just take like $250 like out of my account because they've given them my bank details, and then they send me a box of food for the week. So
Oh, nice.
that's yeah. I mean, there's no like bill for that because that's set up on a direct debit. They
Yeah.
just
Actually, now that you
take the
mention it,
money.
I have the same thing for house insurance. They take 110 at the
exactly.
end of every month, the
Hmm.
27th, which forces me to keep extra money in the account and not spend it all by the end of the month because they're going to deduct it 27th. I better have some money in there on the 27th.
Yeah. No, that's just common sense that you don't burn through
Yeah.
every single cent in your account. You've got to leave some
Well, I used to
as a
do
buffer
that.
in there.
I used to do that because I used to pay house insurance with a check.
Okay.
So I would pay at the beginning of the month with a check. But then it turned out that if I had them withdrawn automatically, it's cheaper.
Yes, it is.
So I was like, all right, we'll just do that. But the problem was they do it at the end of the month instead of the beginning when I get paid. It's like, oh, now I'm going to have to be careful what I spend. If I get down to like $35 in my account at the end of the month, that's going to bounce. And I don't want that to happen because that's if my checking account gets overdrawn, it's $35 per violation.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. It's Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has been nothing but awesome with me ever since I got my account with them. Never had a problem with Wells Fargo. But if you do something wrong with them, they don't like it at all.
No.
So,
I mean, I always have like a couple grand at minimum in my account just in case bills come out and like I need the money in there to cover that stuff. So yeah, I'm never down to like $35 in my account. There's always a minimum of like at least $2,000 and then usually more.
well, my pay stubs and checks and all that kind of stuff kind of changed a lot over the last 4 months because, well, I'm what you would call land poor. I've got a lot of land, so that land is worth a lot of money. So
Yes.
I'm worth a lot of money, but I don't have cash on hand.
Right.
You know, I could sell a property. I could sell like a parcel or something like that and throw 60 grand in my account and have 60 grand floating in there. But then what's it going to do?
No.
You know?
What you do is you sell a 1 foot square plot and then tell them that just by buying it, they get to be a lord. And then you can sell the same plot to like 50 people and like, how are they going to know?
Do you know that title, that entitled thing, whatever their name was, they're part of a conglomerate in Hong Kong.
Yeah. I saw the video.
Has a bunch of different companies underneath it, and that was just one of them.
Kamikoto Knives is the same company.
Yeah. There's there's 2 or 3 other ones too that's under them. Some of them are not available in the States. Some of them are available other places like Europe and stuff like that. But yeah, and the reason they're in Hong Kong is because you can't hold them responsible. There's some kind of deal there where you can't prosecute them.
But one thing I thought was really good was I saw this video of a guy who was like rating the Kamikoto knives, and like he was doing these tests with them, and he was like, okay, this is my $200, $300 Kamikoto knife. This is a free knife I got given as a promotion at the supermarket, and here is a knife I made by sharpening the end of a metal ruler, and let's put them to the test. And like the Kamikoto knife barely outperformed the sharpened ruler.
Oh man. There's something to be said when it comes to that kind of stuff of paying for what you're getting kind of deal, you know?
Yeah.
You can't when it comes to a good set of knives, you have to spend the money.
Yeah, but like he was saying, like they can do all these impressive tests by like making the knife really, really sharp before they do the demonstration. And then they're like, yeah, but the type of steel they use in the knife doesn't hold an edge very well. So sure, you can do the test, but it's blunt afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you have to sharpen it constantly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be folded Japanese steel or something like that.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. It's
Well, I
just-
mean, technically, it is Japanese. Like they made the knives in Japan, but there's
Made the
nothing
blades.
special about it. It's just stock standard steel.
yeah, same thing you make in the States. Nothing special. It's not like they had some guy who's an artisan who's crafting it 6,000 folds or something like that. No. It's
No,
folded
and,
once.
Spud Gun in chat has obviously seen the same video because yes, it was Shadowversity is the channel.
Oh, is that the guy who was testing it?
Yes, Shadowversity is the name of the channel that they did the sharpness tests on.
There's a YouTube channel I watch that does a lot of testing, but it's mostly on tools. It's called Project Farm.
Okay.
And it's like, who makes the best jigsaw? Or who makes the best
Saw. The
drill.
producers of the movie Saw. They make the best jigsaw.
or who makes the best drill? Or who makes the best screwdriver or ratchet or whatever. It's mostly tools. But
So who makes the best screwdriver is going to be AOC when she was in her bartender days.
but he doesn't do like really big things. Like he doesn't do like who makes the best lawnmower. He doesn't go that big. It's mostly just hand tools and stuff like that. And other things like who makes the best motor oil. You know, that kind of stuff. It's actually pretty interesting because he fucking goes to these wild extents of how to really get a good test for it. You know, like he'll take the oil and he'll put it like at minus 20 degrees C. You know, and then tilt it over from the can to see how it runs, and he'll compare it to other ones, and he'll have this whole rig set up. So when he flips it over, and the oil will be in these vials. And when he flips it over, he'll watch it run down. You'll see one running faster than the other. And he's like, that one runs faster than this one. He'll time it. This one took 22.4 seconds. And this one took 17.6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Then he comes up with charts for everything that he tested. And then he comes to, if I had to pick one, which one would I pick? And he does like a best value thing. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a manly channel for manly men.
It sounds like it would be good to watch. I don't know if I'd watch many videos from the channel, but just as like a concept, it does sound pretty cool.
I go out and I check on his videos and I just scan them to see if there's anyone that interests me, and I'll watch that one.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, that sounds about right. That's probably
He did
how
one
I'd
on
watch it.
he did one on open-ended wrenches that was pretty good. Because he like welded bolts to these really thick hardened steel mounting brackets. Then he put weights on the end of the wrench to see how far it would go before it would strip the bolt or it would break the wrench. It's pretty amazing. It's like, can this Japanese version of a Craftsman hold up to a real Craftsman? Because Craftsman used to be made in the United States. Now there's a version that's made in Japan, and he gets the tools from Japan that say Craftsman on it. They're legitimate. They're not copies or knockoffs. And then he'll put them up against, DeWalt and there's all the different tool manufacturers. So he'll get like 14 different manufacturers, and he'll go through the same test of all 14. And he'll run multiple tests on them to see what they do. He'll put weights on the center to see if they'll break in half. All kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like that kind of thing.
yeah,
That's interesting.
Jen, do you have a favorite YouTube channel?
Not really. I just kind of watch whatever's going on.
The
Besides,
correct answer is Minions of the Zoo.
yeah, I was gonna say besides Minions. Well, it wouldn't be my YouTube channel because I have no content at all. I don't plan on ever having any. But I guess there are YouTube channels I like because I like, and there's YouTube channels I like because I hate them. You know, like I hate Philly D. I watch it every day, but I fucking hate his channel.
I think if I had to pick a favorite channel that wasn't just like someone I know, like not counting friends and minions and stuff like that, I would probably go with Justin Wong. He's a professional fighting game player, and I like him because one, he's easygoing and fun to watch, but he also plays like a wide variety of games. Usually these people specialize. Like there's Brian F who only plays Street Fighter 5, whereas this guy Justin, he's like he'll play everything. He'll play like weird obscure games no one's ever heard of and win tournaments in them. That's just like really cool.
What's his name? Justin Long?
Justin Wong with a W.
Oh, with a W. Okay, I was like thinking, wait a minute, this guy is an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Shu. I like Beauty and the Beta. I mean, there's a lot of channels I like, but I think, to be honest with you, I think Philly D is the only one I like to hate. And I watch it religiously. You know, I never hit the like button. And you gotta give it just a little bit of a turn there, you know. Never hit the like button. I don't hit the dislike button. I don't hit the like button.
I haven't watched Philly D in years. I can't even remember why I stopped watching him, but somewhere along the way I just got fed up with him and
He's
I stopped
obnoxious. He's awful.
He
He's
is.
so woke. He built his entire channel by being a fuckboy.
Edgy.
Yeah. And he was kind of centrist or a little bit right. And then he got married and went woke, and now he's a daddy, and now he's all on the left. And now that he's gotten all the people to build his channel up on the right, now he's like, fuck the right.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't have a channel if it wasn't for the people on the right, pal.
I mean, I remember why I started watching him, which was because he covered the roaming millennial Lacey Green dispute.
Right.
And he seemed pretty even about that. Like he was not woke about it, and he like didn't just automatically side with Lacey. He was like explaining why roaming millennial would be, you know, upset to have.
Yeah, he
like,
kind of took
content
roaming.
strike.
He kind of took Lauren Chen's side of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Even though
So,
Lacey's kind
I
of
was
his
like-
friend.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, he seems like he can be like objective and even-handed. So I'll watch this guy. And then that went away. So somewhere along the way, I lost interest, and I haven't watched him in like 2 years, maybe 3.
I think I started watching him when he covered. Oh, what was that guy's name? It was the blonde chick and the guy from Canada. Oh, what the hell were their names? The girl who was talking about fat people. She did a video about.
Nicole Arbor?
Yeah, Nicole Arbor and her boyfriend at the time. His name was it Matt?
I don't know the boyfriend's name.
She physically abused him, and he put a video out about it.
Oh, okay.
And Philly D covered it. And that's where I found it out. Because I used to watch the guy from Canada. He went woke too, so I stopped watching him. I can't remember his name though. I wonder if I can just
No, me neither.
do a quick search here. What do you say, Nicole Arbor's boyfriend?
I think Nicole Arbor was the one who did the Dear Fat People thing.
Right. Dear fat people. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
She was
Oh,
also
Matt
called out
Santoro.
for abusing her boyfriend.
Tier in chat says Matt Santoro was the guy's
Yep,
name.
there it is. I knew it was Matt something. Yeah, Matt Charles Santoro. Well,
He's a little bit sketchy too.
He is a little sketchy. He's done some strange things, but I used to subscribe to him. This is back when I was first starting, and I subscribed like him and Bering and like 2 or 3 other guys.
Okay.
And I used to watch him, and he was very upbeat. But it turned out that he started coming out with videos saying, you know, I look upbeat to you guys, but I'm really very depressed. And I was kind of like, yeah, time to move on.
I haven't watched Bearing in a long time either. He kind of went soft. Like ever since he had a kid, he's kind of not been as edgy as he used to be.
He stopped kind of doing very many videos for a while, but he came back.
That too.
He came back. He's not going hard at SJWs like he used to, but his content is still. I mean, he's still cursing and making fun of trans people and all the shit things he used to do. All the what's the word I'm looking for? Trolling.
He pretty much goes after the same stuff that Jeremy does, but like after the fact.
No, I think the problem is that he's got like a 5-minute video, 3 minutes of which is the sponsor, and it doesn't feel like you're getting enough meat on the bone. It's just like why watch effectively 2 minutes of content
They're not very
in a
long.
5-minute video?
His videos are not long. But he's still pretty funny. And he still has no problems using the C word and
Oh,
you
of
know.
course. He's Australian. It's a law. You have to say cunt.
So yeah, I mean, he's every bit as entertaining as he was before, but I think you're right. He's not quite so angry. Maybe having a kid kind of does that to you, I guess.
I mellowed him out.
Well, it's that, and I think one of the things with politics is it's draining. Like I poke my nose into it because I know that Canada is kind of in a weird space. Like I do think it's bad when we aren't paying some attention to what's going on up here because we're very quickly being screwed over by people who don't give a shit about us. But it's draining. I don't like it. I look at the me from 5 years ago who barely scraped at the surface of politics, and I envy her, and I tell her to go back every time.
Tier in chat says after Bering broke up with 50 Splinters, he hasn't been the same. Like I missed the Christie crew. That was like the golden age of YouTube, where everyone was just ripping those idiots to shreds.
Yeah,
like,
back in the days,
Michael Rowlands and Tim Blake and Kevin Logan, like all those idiots
on their side,
Curiosity.
yeah. And then you had Bering and Undoomed and Kraut and T on our side.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something funny? My opinion about Christy Winters was that she was a girl or a lady just short of a restraining order herself. Because much as she went after men, her behavior towards men was the kind of stuff that I would see sketchy if a man was doing it to a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was obsessed with Bering and Sargon. Like that was the meme. Is if you go to her channel, every video is Bering, Sargon, Bering. It's like talk about anything else, please.
It's not just that. It was the way she was in videos with her own crew. Like I remember she did one with Steve Shives, and I didn't watch the whole thing because between the two of them, they're kind of insufferable. But he even looked uncomfortable next to her. Like she seems like the type of person to be unself-aware of the body language thing. You know? Like Steve Shive was married at the time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can be a little bit too friendly with a person and make them feel uncomfortable. And Steve Shives doesn't seem like the kind of dude to be like, hey, ma'am, I'm married.
Yeah. I think
so.
For all his faults, I will give Steve Shives credit for one thing. He almost got my name correct when he read out my comment. Because like Monkey started the whole Diamantis thing where everyone just pronounced it that way. But Steve Shives is like Diamantis. He's like, yeah, that's closer than most. I'll take it. So for a long time, Steve Shives was the only person who said my name almost correctly on YouTube, which I thought was pretty funny.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that she sexually harassed anybody. I'm just saying she seems like the type of woman to low-key not understand that her body language and the way she will make some people uncomfortable. Like there's literally like I wouldn't do that in England ever unless I knew the people. Or like Japan, you don't do that in Japan.
Right.
Like you might as well be like, yeah, I want to marry you because you're a little bit too close. You know?
Steve Shives was so creepy. Did you ever watch his Steve and Stuffy videos?
Yeah. Oh god.
Why did he make those? That is just so creepy.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people started to low-cow him more because he went that route.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
Well, it's like queer kids, you know, like the teddy bear shit. I'm like, who are you really trying to reach out to with that?
Oh yeah, but everyone knows that Lindsay from Queer Kid Stuff is like a pedo creep. She's just not even subtle about it.
Only thing I ever thought that was good about Steve Shives was he was a Trek fan.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people really appreciated his Star Trek videos and only stopped watching him when he started talking about the political stuff. Like if he'd stayed as a Star Trek channel, I think he could have still been quite big.
Yeah.
That is
And
interesting.
yeah, Tier in chat is saying he got blocked by Shives. Everyone gets blocked by Steve Shives. That's just a law of nature.
It is.
I didn't in the get-go, but now I'm for sure probably. I haven't looked in a couple of years, so you know.
I mean,
I haven't thought about him in a couple of years, so
he does it by like who you follow.
yeah.
So if you've ever followed Bering or Sargon or
Yeah, you got blocked.
Undoomed or like anyone in that sphere, you've been blocked. I guarantee it. I did think it was funny. It was like I'd never even heard of Steve Shives, and someone was like, "It was a meme. Check to see if you've already been blocked by him." It's like I guarantee, like I'm not going to be blocked by this guy. I've never even heard. I'm blocked. Who is he, and why did he block me?
Those were good times. At least they were nicer times.
Yeah. No, I miss the days when every video was about some new member of the Christie crew, which you know, I think your good friend Claudia was like tangentially associated with them.
Yeah.
She wasn't like a full member, but she was friends with them.
I am not blocked by Steve Shives. I'm looking at his account.
Something wrong.
I'm looking at his account right now.
What's his? Is it Steve _ Shives?
The one I'm looking at, it's got his picture, and the thing is at Steve Shives 8.
I'm guessing that's not him.
You don't think so?
Because I'm not blocked on that account. Like Steve Shives 8. Oh no, this is 100% not him. I'll tell you why. There's a tweet from June 19th, 2017, with a word that I can't say on YouTube in it that Steve Shives would never in a million years write.
Where is it? I'm looking at the account. Oh,
Steve Shives.
Underneath the flag?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is not Steve Shives. I'm telling you now.
Oh, it's a fake account?
Has to be.
Okay.
I'll put the tweet in chat, and people can decide for themselves if this is something that the Steve Shives we know.
No, it is Steve _ Shives, because there's
Yeah.
another. It's a much newer photo, much higher resolution photo, and I am blocked there. So yeah, he finally.
Of course, yeah.
I wonder if he just whitelists. Everybody's blocked except for these 4 people.
No, from what I can determine, because I used to watch his question and answer videos, and yeah, he has a system where it'll block everyone based on association. So if you follow a person that is on his blacklist, you will get blocked as well.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he does it because, you know, he wants to tailor his Twitter experience so that he doesn't have to deal with what he defines as trolls. And like, okay, look, it's your Twitter. You can do what you want with it.
Which honestly, I respect that. Like if that's what he wanted from the get-go, that he's at least doing something that more liberals should do. You know? In all honesty, if you don't want to be around something that you don't like, just walk away from it. I don't have to agree with him on his beliefs and stuff. It's even to do with things like comics and movies and shit, like things that don't necessarily have to involve me. I don't need to have an opinion on.
Right. I barely ever comment inflammatory things because I don't want to deal with idiots yelling at me.
So, you know what? I'll give Steve a little bit of charity. Here you go, Steve. You were at least a little bit more mature than some of the other liberals who honestly have to rearrange everything everywhere to make it theirs. Instead, you created your own. Fair enough.
Tyrion chat says that I have the N-word pass. If this was any channel other than Minions, I would say it, but I'm not getting the minions taken down again. I mean, not that I've got, like, I don't want minions to get taken down again. I've never actually been responsible for it getting taken down.
I am not blocked on my personal account. My IRL account, my real name.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Steve Shives. His profile says YouTuber co-host, Ensign's Log, and late seating podcast, social justice advocate, tries to do good. He, him.
Huh.
I reckon if I use my fighting game Twitter account where I only follow people in the fighting game thing, that wouldn't be blocked by him because I don't follow like anyone political on that. So I'll have a look. Yeah, I'm fine. I can see him.
Yeah, looking at his tweets, he's not. He doesn't look like he's being remotely controversial anymore. Like he's
probably doing his own thing.
He's like doing like weight loss stuff.
Fair enough.
And stuff like that. Nothing here. The person who wrote the original headline knew exactly what they were doing, and I, for one, would like to say that I appreciate them. So he's like being a nice guy.
I think it's because there's been a little bit of a twist with the fat movement. The fact that 4 of them died probably isn't helping them.
Right.
And a lot of them have kind of come out and been like, hey, listen, it's one thing to be big when you're in your 20s and an entirely different story when you're in your 40s. I honestly give them credit for being honest in that regard. Because
there's apparently he's still doing the Stephen Stuffy stuff because there's a tweet from yesterday saying that he shot 8 more episodes.
Well, I think he gets paid to. So, I mean, if some of his fans have weird kids who are weird, weird.
That's just creepy. But yeah, he's allowed to be creepy. There's nothing against being creepy on Twitter or YouTube.
Well, the reason that Bering and Christy Winters stopped going after each other is because he said, look, if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. And that's what happened. She stopped going after him. He stopped going after her, and they just kind of parted ways. And
yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Claudia was part of that to some extent. But she got into an argument with Christy about something. Christy made a call on something that was a bad call. And Claudia pointed it out, and Christy got all pissed because she got embarrassed.
Well, Claudia was in the Reasonable Questions for Anti-SJW's video. So she was like associated with the group. It's just she fell out of it when, she had the fight with Christy.
She was in the video?
If you watch the Reasonable Questions for Anti-SJWs, she's the one who says, how come this man, this woman represents all feminists, but this man doesn't represent all MRAs? And it's like, Trigglypuff, like get this hate speech off our campus, and like some idiot guy was it like a Burger King or a McDonald's or something, and he's like ranting and raving about not being able to hit women. And it's like, if you watch the video again, because she didn't have her current profile pic, she was still like the weird, like animated, like the clit avatar, the badly drawn clitoris. So yeah, if you watch it, she is in it. She's got like a couple questions,
but not a face cam.
No face cam. Just the weird drawing.
Reasonable Questions for
Anti-SJWs.
Anti-SJWs.
Well, hi, Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, Jack's here. Time in the stream.
Well, he said the same thing. He said that was how he greeted chat. It's like, time to shut it down.
Oh yeah, this is actually a Christy Winters video. It's actually on her channel.
It was a response video to TJ Kirk, Amazing Atheist, because he did a video that was questions that anti-SJWs have for SJWs or something in that vein. And so Christy came out with her like counter video.
Of course she did.
everybody did a response video to this reasonable questions video. Everyone. Like, you think of a channel that even dipped its toe in anti-SJW content, they had a response video.
I would pay real money to get a picture of Claudia, just get an idea what she looks like.
Go to a channel. I don't know if the videos are still up, but I went to a YouTube channel years ago, and like there was a upload from like a Twitch stream where you could see a face.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember
But she doesn't even
how
have
long
that channel.
ago, but
She doesn't even have that channel anymore, though, right?
she might have deleted it. I don't know.
No, her Twitter is Claudia Brown. I imagine that their YouTube channels probably did the same thing, right? I don't even know what to search for. Ranting Feminist?
Well, try both, but I'm pretty sure that all she did was rename the Ranting Feminist channel into Claudia Brown. I don't think she deleted anything. So she might have since, because I know she stopped making videos.
Yeah.
When she was still active, she had videos, and one of them that I was curious to see what she looked like was an upload from one of her Twitch streams, and she showed a face.
Her YouTube is Claudia Brown 3026. That's her logo. I recognize her logo. There's other Claudia Browns, but
of course,
this one's a channel, and I'm subscribed to it, so it's got to be the right one.
Yeah.
You go to videos, and just scroll down.
I'm working off of an old memory, so maybe I'm misremembering something, but I'm almost certain that somewhere in there was a upload from a Twitch stream where she's just like had a face, and she was like talking to chat.
Well, there's one. I always say there's some old ones out here because there's one out here from Bering from 6 years ago.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the right channel that you're looking at.
But yeah, I'm on the right channel, but I just don't know which one has the Twitch stream on it because she just has.
If you mouse over the thumbnail, it should autoplay the first few bits of the video.
Yeah.
I mean, don't do it on the air because that'll be time consuming and boring for everyone. But once we shut this down, I'm sure if you just mouse over each video, you'll see.
Some of them don't play. A couple of them do. The one for Bering plays. But and the one for Bering is somebody playing a game. I don't know if it's her or what. But I don't know how you would find out which one of these was a Twitch stream.
No, I mean it might have been a YouTube stream for. I'm just assuming it was a Twitch stream because I know she played games a lot.
Well, yeah, we'll catch up with that later. Yeah, get out of here because Jack's here, so it's time to go.
Yeah,
yeah, it's also late. Much as I wish it wasn't.
She's got something else. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Unless you guys have something else you want to talk about, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's 5 after.
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, we have to go. Jack's here. We got to go. Thanks everybody as always for chatting with us tonight. Remember, we're trying to get our Rumble channel up and running. We'll have that hopefully solved by next week. So
we're up to 53, so that's nice.
Are we?
Yeah, 53.
I still want to try to get to 100 if we can. Not that it's so needed anymore because we can live stream now, but I'd like to see a good number there. So if anybody has a Rumble channel and they haven't checked this out, go ahead and follow us on Rumble. We'll eventually be, if everything works out next week, live streaming there. As for YouTube, if you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the meetings are live every evening, including weekends, with most shows starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Post and start times are listed in the description, along with our Rumble channel down below. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, guys. But also, by the way, Keeve, It's okay if you like Matthew Santora. I just don't trust YouTubers. Like their content, just don't trust them. That's it. Yeah, have a good night.
There you go.